Hey there, Aquarius. Just want to make sure I'm recording, which I am. So thank you for being here. We're doing your reading for mid-July 2024. And you start off with this shooting star card. It says, what you've asked is coming true. Your wish is about to manifest. There you go. You have this orbiting space card. It says something or someone is orbiting you, wanting to make its presence known. So for those of you that are looking for love, there definitely could be a person that is like in your energy field or that is around you. So I would pay attention to that. It could also just be your wish or, whatever this card said. What did it say? It said, what you've asked for is coming true. A wish is about to manifest. So there you go. One thing I will say is that all these readings have been kind of about like a wish or wishes coming true, which is pretty interesting. All these oracle decks kind of have different wish cards, or they have different cards that could represent a wish coming true. Even, of course, in the tarot, there are plenty of cards that can represent a wish coming true. So, it looks to me like you're definitely getting something you wish for. This is the Wheel of Fortune right here. This deck that I'm using is the Arc Animal Tarot, and it's an awesome deck. I love it. So there you go. But, definitely could be some sort of wish coming true. You have the Three of Swords, the Hangman, and the Ten of Cups. This to me would, your first row kind of strikes me as a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because the Three of Swords can represent, a separation, or, really it's a card of forgiveness as well. Normally those three swords are in your own heart. That's what the card represents. And you have to remove those swords so that you can heal and open your heart back up to whatever. It doesn't even have to be to love. It could just be to anything that you need to open your heart to. And so I feel for a lot of you, you could be going through some sort of healing, or you have. But really, I kind of feel that you've been in this period of being in hangman mode. The hangman, he sacrifices the use of his arms and his legs so that he can gain enlightenment. So I feel for some of you, maybe you've been on pause for a while. And, this doesn't have to just be in love. Like I said, this could be in all, maybe you've just been on pause for a while. And now I feel like you've gained the answers you've been looking for. So it's time to get out into the world. It's time to be happy, right? You have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is about choosing happiness. Those 10 cups exist normally above those people's heads on this card. And it kind of says that that they are choosing to be happy. They are choosing to focus on things that bring happiness into their lives. So, the people are standing in the real world, and they still have to deal with all the real world issues, problems, challenges, everything. But they are choosing to do the things that bring, blessings and happiness into their life. And again, that's what I would do here. But quite simply, I think that this first row is really kind of talking about like a blessing in disguise. So you could be finally understanding why something broke your heart, or, and it doesn't have to be love. It could be just a failure or something that didn't work out for you. And I kind of feel like you're finally figuring that out, Aquarius. With the Three of Swords, you have the Strength card. Part of it was probably to develop your strength, or so that you could become stronger. The Strength card is a display of strength. The lady on this card normally has her hands in the lion's mouth, and the lion has its tail between its legs. So the lion is submitting to her, and it says that this is something that, number one, only crazy people would stick their hands in a lion's mouth. So she's doing something that requires a lot of strength, but it's also a card that represents a display of strength. Like, people are seeing her put her hands, tame the lion, basically. So I feel like people are seeing just how much you've grown. With the Hangman, you have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, love, happiness, joy, good things. Could also be a blessing in disguise as well. So again, for a lot of you, I feel like this is basically saying that you've been enlightened as to what will make your heart overflow. The Ace of Cups is something that can cause itself to overflow. It can reach down into the water below it, and it can fill itself back up again, so it never runs out of energy. And again, I kind of get that feeling here where you being in hangman mode, or if you have been on pause for a while now, that I feel like it's taught you how to enter into all situations, again, not just love, but everything, from not only a full cup, but I also feel like it's taught you kind of how to balance your energy so that you can fill your cup back up, so that you're never running out of energy in your cup. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Moon. The Moon says that something right now is just a fantasy. So it's like, I feel like the Ten of Cups, blessing in disguise, right? I feel like there's some sort of blessing in disguise here, but it's like maybe you see something that could be a blessing in disguise, like, oh, if I started this business, or if I got this job, or if I dated this person, or whatever. It's like you see that something could be a blessing, and I feel like the moon to me always says you need to bring the moon down to earth. The moon is an illusion or a fantasy until it isn't, right? So the moon doesn't exist until it does. So I feel for a lot of you, this is about manifesting a dream, or like taking the steps. The Hangman says you're ready. You're ready to get off the pole. You're ready to start working towards this bigger vision that you probably have. The moon is very dreamy. Next, you have in the area of what's coming towards you, you have this emu. It says curiosity, strategy, and endurance. You have this oyster. It says concepts, beauty, and resilience. So I feel for a lot of you, again, I feel like people are seeing just how resilient you are, Aquarius, for like not giving up, or for being strong, or for sticking through something, which is great. The oyster has that pearl, which it can only get through a difficult situation, basically. So, the oyster creates the pearl through a painful process, because, most people think it's because they get a grain of sand inside of the oyster, and the oyster forms the pearl. But really, it's a parasite that goes into the oyster, and that's what causes the pearl to form. So I feel for a lot of you, it's like you've been through something difficult, but you're about to get your reward with the oyster. By the way, we are also, that emu card says strategy on it, and we are definitely in a time of strategy where I think everybody should be using strategic thinking. I tell everyone right now, it's like, come up with a plan, slow it down, and really look at it, and make sure you do things in the most efficient way possible. Again, if this were Sesame Street, efficiency would be the word of the day. You have this raccoon. It says Page of Wands. So Page of Wands is about moving towards your enthusiasm, and you also have the King of Wands here as well. And I believe we're in a time of inspiration where and you also have the Six of Wands, which is a card of inspiration. So I think that we're in a time where we are being guided not necessarily by our mind, but by our inspirations, by the things that feel inspiring and exciting to us. The problem with this is that there's no proof that what we want to do is going to work. And again, this is true for everyone, Aquarius. So, I think that it's time for us to live more inspired lives, and that's why I talk about this so much, because it's literally the only thing we have to do. There really isn't much else that we have to do other than if we move towards our enthusiasm, we'll find more success. You have this Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you and walking towards, hopefully, fulfillment. It looks to me like you are heading towards the Wheel of Fortune, going this way, because the moon is like the start of your journey. The moon is part of the Fool's journey, and nowhere on the moon does it say stop for the Fool. It says, he needs to go down the path on the middle of the moon, and he needs to see things through to the end, and he needs to continue his journey. So I think you're going this way towards the Wheel of Fortune, which would be like luck, positive karma, things turning in your favor, good energy. You have the King of Wands. King of Wands also about being like bold, confident, continuing your journey. The King of Wands is really, he is an energy of having like foresight as well. So the King of Wands can almost see the future. And I feel for some of you that you can almost see a future with a certain situation. And I feel like you need to trust that. But the King of Wands would say you have to boldly move towards this future. Like, you really have to take control and really tap in to make things happen. So I feel that if you take control of a situation, whatever you're trying to accomplish here, we go up to the Six of Wands, which is accomplishment. You also have this Cosmic Egg card right here in this row, the next row. And the Cosmic Egg kind of represents completion. It kind of, the meaning of the card itself in the book for this deck. This is the Tarot of the Wild Unknown Animal Oracle deck, and it kind of reminds me of the World card. And so it kind of reminds me of, needing to accomplish something great, or completion, ending some sort of accomplishment, or reaching the finish line. And so, it's kind of giving me those vibes. With the Page of Wands, you have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups can represent regrets or sadness, but it can also represent needing to focus on the good stuff. I kind of feel like there is a little bit too much focus on things that didn't work in your life, so I feel this is quite simple. I feel it's just saying change your focus, change your life. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, no rushing at this time. No jumping to conclusions either. You and Leo, your opposite sign, Aquarius, right? I think that the two of you need to make sure that you're not jumping to conclusions, that you're taking your time with decision making and all that other good stuff. And I think that will help you the most. So that's what I would say here with the Knight of Swords. No rushing. With the King of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups here. So, again, it could be a Queen of Cups type person that you're attracting, someone who's very intuitive, heart-based. It could also be a person who follows their heart as well. Sometimes I think that some people are brought into our lives as lessons, or we can learn from everybody that's brought into our lives. This doesn't have to be love. It could just be a person. But I kind of get that feeling here that there is an example of a person in your life, or there's about to be. And I feel like the example, this person is going to show you how to live from your heart, or how to live a more heart-based life. And I would just, use it as an example. I would say like, wow, this person's an inspiration. I should learn from them. And that's it. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this cosmic egg and this camel. The camel is an energy of being a survivor and kind of not giving up. So I think that a lot of you have not given up, and I think you're about to accomplish something great with this cosmic egg. Again, the cosmic egg just reminds me of the world energy, kind of reminds me of completion. It is a card of completion in this deck and completing your journey, so that's great. You have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune could represent a change in your fortunes. It can also represent kind of like cycles, or karmic events, as the card says right here. So there could definitely be some sort of karmic situation. And I'm not talking about love here either. I feel like you are getting karma because we have the Six of Wands, which would be a success. So there's something. It's almost like a reward. And like I said, blessing in disguise. The whole entire reading is kind of giving me those vibes that you are about to get a reward after going through a difficult period of time. And I feel like that's what this is talking about. I always like to remind people that, to me, tarot is about action. Tarot doesn't just magically happen. Tarot is like a map for your life. You can do it or not. And with the Wheel of Fortune, we really want to double down on our wins. So if you do have a win, or if you do receive some sort of karmic reward at this time, it's definitely going to be something that you're going to want to double down on. There's a million ways to do this. You can express gratitude towards the thing that you receive. So if you receive some sort of gift, or a boost up the ladder, or whatever you're getting, being grateful for longer is a great way to do this. Years ago, I really started celebrating my wins. I used to be like the type of person where I'd have a win and I would just rush right past it. I wouldn't celebrate it. I wouldn't do anything to be, appreciative of it or anything like that. But recently, over the past few years, I've really spent extra time like really being grateful, and I'm convinced that it really does attract more wins into your life. So I would be really grateful. I also like to break down my wins. Like if I have a win, I like to know why did what I do work, right? And so I think breaking it down and turning it into a repeatable process will just have you winning more. You have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is a card of inspiration, success, a victory, receiving recognition as well. So like I said, I feel like there's like a lot of recognition coming in for you with the Six of Wands. I also feel that some of you could be kind of like proven right at this time. So, if you have the Three of Swords there at the beginning of the reading, I feel like some of you maybe said something to people, or maybe you set out to kind of prove yourself to people, and now I feel like you kind of are with this energy. I feel like you are either proving yourself in a situation, or, it's like maybe people are seeing you as a survivor, like this camel card over here. They're seeing that you are capable of doing the things that you say you can do, and so that could be where the success is coming in. You have this Lovers card. The Lovers, of course, could represent love. There's a little bit of love here if you want it. I wouldn't really call it a love reading, but it's here, like I said. So if you want love, there could be a love. It's like you two are two like ugly birds in a pod, two peas in a pod here. So I definitely feel that, birds of a feather, the two of you, there are two birds on this card. And I feel like this could be a really solid commitment. Could be a quote-unquote karmic connection. I don't think it's karmic, like everybody says karmic, whatever the hell that means. I don't even know. I really don't care either. I think the titles are ridiculous. Just find a good person, make it work. It's not that hard. People make love way too complicated, right? So what I would say here is that I think this is a great connection. I think that maybe it's divinely guided, or it's something that is meant to enter into your life. So it looks good. Let's see. That did not work. So let's try that again. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is a card of kind of tactics. So I always say, to me, the Seven of Swords is a good card. It can represent lying, cheating, stealing, but I read holistically. So when I do a tarot reading, I take every single card into account, and there are no other, tricky cards here in this reading. So I really don't think this is talking about a tricky situation. I think that this is talking about tactics. The Seven of Swords, he is stealing those swords from an army in the background. And he's doing that so he doesn't have to go to war. So it basically says he's doing things in a better way. And I think that pretty much anything you want to do, there's probably a better way to do it. You just have to discover it. With the Six of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, a lot of fulfillment, a lot of happiness, a lot of success here. Definitely blessings, and like probably a blessing in disguise as well. Can't make this up. With the Lovers, you have the World. There you go. So, like I said, definitely getting world vibes off of this row. And here's the World. So I feel for a lot of you, there's a big accomplishment coming in for you. It's probably something you've been working towards for a long time. And that, that could be where the accomplishment is coming in. This could also, I do get like completion vibes off of your reading, especially with that Cosmic Egg and the World card. Both cards represent completing one stage of your life and going to the next stage. So it looks to me like you're just completing one thing, going to the next stage. At the end here, for the good stuff, you have this lizard. It says, dream the world into being. The whole entire reading kind of says that. Even, this first card, whatever it said there about what you've asked for is coming true. So it's like you've asked for something and you're manifesting it into your life. And don't doubt it either. It just popped into my head. You have this hummingbird. It says, be here, be now. The hummingbird was the clue at the beginning of the reading that really told me you've been on this long journey. The story of the hummingbird is that they go on these long journeys to get to their nectar, so they have to go on a long journey to receive a reward. And I feel that's what's going on here. It's like a lot of you are going on these long journeys to receive rewards in your life, and now with the World and the Cosmic Egg, you are getting to your reward, which is great. You have this King of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, yes, and the High Priestess. So the King of Pentacles is about stabilizing your wealth. A lot of people during this set of readings have had a big focus on stabilizing themselves financially. It makes sense with the economy and everything else going on. So I feel for a lot of you, you're just, kind of like doing the things necessary to improve your finances. If you want to do extra things to improve your finances, I also think that would be a great thing. I also feel with the King of Pentacles that if you have a specific skill that you are not using, I would find a way to use whatever that skill is. It's like, even if you start like a side hustle, or maybe you get a side job or a side gig or something like that, I just get the feeling here that, the King of Pentacles represents a very specific skill. He normally has grapes on his cloak, and the grapes in the tarot represent a specific skill, if I can't say that enough. So I feel like using that skill could make you more money. You have the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups and the good stuff would say you are manifesting a dream. this lizard spirit says dream the world into being. So I really feel if you can dream it, you can have it. And I would, practice using your dreams, or, I would practice manifesting a dream on earth with this energy for sure. You have the High Priestess, definitely time to trust your intuition. I feel like you're getting messages. There's a big moon on the back of this card here, and you have the moon in the same row. At the bottom here. So again, the moon can represent a dream that you are trying to manifest on earth, and you just need to ground it in reality. So I feel like that you are getting intuitive messages about like a person, place, or a thing, like I said at the beginning of the reading, and I feel like you need to trust those messages. They're guiding you towards something. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Four of Cups. I love this Four of Cups. This is from the White Sage Tarot, and you can see that these three cups are pouring into one cup. So again, if you're attracting a person, it definitely could be a King of Pentacles type person. Someone who's very stable, successful, hardworking, and, but this Four Cups, again, I feel like it's a person who really pours into connections, like those three cups are pouring into one cup there. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely focusing on financial stability. Again, the Four of Pentacles and the good stuff would say that you are doing things to improve your financial stability. I think it's funny that the Seven of Cups here is a beaver. It's like you're building a solid foundation. The Four of Pentacles would also represent building a solid foundation for your finances. And then with the spider here, the High Priestess, you have the King of Cups. Could be a water sign that you're attracting as well. I do feel that with all this heart-based energy, the King of Cups is very heart-based. He really listens to what his heart is telling him. And so I feel that for a lot of you, like, not only should you listen to your inspirations or your intuition, but you should also be listening to your heart. You have this lightning card that says, control your anger, you will be sorry. Knight of Swords, for sure. Knight of Swords with the Eight of Cups it's not bad, but it's not great either. It could represent someone rushing into your life, telling you something that isn't true, and it basically says, don't have those moments of explosive anger. Control your anger, right? You have the Seahorse. It says, family matters. Again, I would be careful of who you're listening to at this time. Mercury retrograde is always weird. Mars retrograde years are always weird. We have Mars going retrograde at the end of the year in Leo, family as well. So what I would say is, this doesn't mean you have to be mean to anyone or anything like that. It just means pay attention. You have this January card and this flute, and the flute says disappointment in a friend or a lover. So again, you could be healing with that Three of Swords from a past person, and I would definitely be careful of any past people, especially with Mercury retrograde. I would be careful. You have this older man card that says dealings or relationships with an older man. You also have this torch. It says spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. I thought you had the King of Swords for some reason. I'm making that up. But what I would say here is that there could be an older person you look up to who could help you with spiritual development, or who could be providing good advice. I would definitely listen to good advice. And people, whenever I say this, people always say, well, how do I know what good advice is? And I'm like, well, it's very, very simple. It's the place it comes from. Good advice is not fear. People who are giving you advice from a place of fear, don't do this, don't do that, you should be afraid of this, you should be afraid of that. That is bad advice. People who give you good advice, it's expansive, and it usually comes from a place of love. So it's pretty easy to tell the difference. And that's what I would pay attention to. You have this scissors card. It says disappointment in some affair. There could be like a minor disappointment with the Three of Swords. I would just release it. I think there's much better stuff coming in for you. But this is a really good reading, Aquarius. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.